Hey y'all. Um okay. I think that everything's right now. My stuff is like moving a little slow. But hey y'all, welcome to another reading sprint. I'm really needing this reading sprint this month. It's just been really a bad month to be honest. I just haven't been like reading a lot at all. I think it has to do with the nonfictions I've been reading. I thought like this month I was gonna be this reflective type of reader and only read like maybe one or two fictions and like try and knock out two nonfictions, and that just did not work at all. One of them was really great, and I already posted on my Instagram like a review of the Good Enough Job by Simone Stalzoff. It was really, really good. I highly, really recommend it for a lot of people who are like millennials and currently in a what should be a creative job or your dream job and you're experiencing burnout. I really would recommend you give like that book a try. I think that it's kind of short. Like the audiobook was maybe like 5.5 hours, and it has a lot of different points of view. There's point of view of like people of color and stuff in it, which is sometimes a big issue in these types of books, um, which I appreciated because I think that it just talked a lot about some of what comes with that, like being from a family who maybe like they never got to work their dream job. So you're thinking, I should be happy that I'm even able to do what I'm doing. And instead, I feel this like guilt around it and stuff. It covers those topics. So that was great. I read Mary. I finally get the hype behind that. Can't wait to read Nestlings. And then I tried a romance, and it was supposed to be like this bisexual romance, and it's put me to sleep. It just wasn't that. I go through moods of romance, and I guess I just really wasn't in the mood for romance, and so that wasn't good no matter how short it kind of was, so I DNF'd it. I started Roxane Gay's Hunger memoir, and it wasn't that it wasn't good, it just wasn't the reason why I wanted to read it was not the topic it was being talked about. So I didn't feel like I wanted to continue reading it because it was kind of one of those things where like you're expecting one thing and it was turning out to be another, regardless of how good it might have been. So that was a whole situation, and I DNF'd that as well. And then I started Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix, which has been good. There's been a lot. It's very informational. I've learned about Holloway Books, which was a Black horror publishing house during like the 70s, and they made like pulp like horror books and everything, which was really informational. The transition from horror to thriller during the 80s, that Rosemary's Baby really took off the whole horror genre and paperbacks, The Exorcist, the other. So things like that have been great. But I will say I've been listening to the audiobook, and while the information is great, the reason why I wanted to read it was because I have this obsession right now with old school paperback novels. And I really want to start like collecting and reading more horror paperback, really, because these are just amazing covers, like just fantastic covers. And I wanted to kind of have more like history behind that. So considering that's the reason why I wanted to pick up this book in the first place, while the information has been great, I haven't been able to pair it with like the actual covers while I'm hearing it. And I feel like that's a disservice. So I may end up like during our sprints listening and reading through this so that I can have the experience of reading and seeing the books at the same time in this, because I feel like seeing the different books is really important to knowing what's happening. And it's just like these paintings are amazing. Yeah, it's fantastic. That's a maybe. I don't know. That may be something that I have to do in my own time. What I really want to read, where is it? What I really want to read during today's sprints is the Autumncrow High Fresh Hell by Cameron Chaney. I'm participating in the Old School April Challenge this month, and I haven't been doing that great. I've been wanting to knock out more books. I've been wanting to read Fear Street novels, and I can't find any in the thrift stores. And I refuse to kind of buy them off of eBay right now because I feel like, one, the only way you're really going to make or like buy them in a way that like it makes sense and you're actually like I don't want to buy like collector's prices and everything. Like I want to read them and everything. I don't have a problem if they're all beat up or like if they've been written on by some like 11-year-old back in 1992. But I don't want to pay like $50 for a lot of 5. And I may start reading like the Fear Street novels, which I never got to when I was a kid, and end up not liking them. So I have to really just kind of bite the bullet on it and just keep on looking for them at the thrift store when I can. But the idea that I was going to get to it this month, that's a wash. So I'm going to read Cameron Chaney's book. It gives like the Goosebumps Fear Street vibes, and he's one of the hosts in the challenge. He's here on YouTube. So I thought I would give it a try. A lot of people say that it's good. It's not that long. And if it's anything like those Fear Street novels, it shouldn't take me that long to read. I'm saying that, and it's probably like, yeah, it'll probably take me forever to read this. I probably get through maybe a third. We'll see. Sometimes I'm like really pushing it. Let's see what you guys are reading. I've been jabbing my jaws. Let's see what you guys are all reading. Lost AJ. Hi, unfortunately, I won't be able to stay long. It's like 11 p.m. there. Oh, thank you for coming. That's super late, so I appreciate you coming and stopping by. Dante's Divine Comedy. Wow, a classic. I hope that you like enjoy that. I feel like that's one of those like horror classics that like I should try and read at some point. I think that I'm just like afraid of classics because of being all burnt out on them when I tried reading them during high school to sound like smart and everything. So I have that association with it. Kelly Hooked on Books. Thank you for coming back, Kelly. And Scorpio Rising. Hello. Hey to everyone in the chat. First, I'm going to work in my journal. Then I'm going to start Dead in the Water by Emma Ainsley. It's a cozy mystery. Oh, that's cool. And congrats on you working on your journal. I have started a book journal at the beginning of this year, and I've not written back in it since probably the top of February was the last time that I wrote in my book journal, which now I feel like I'm so far behind that now I'm overwhelmed with like going to go read in my book journal and everything, which I know it's horrible, but like kudos to you for working your journal during this time. And Dead in the Water, I feel like I've heard of that. I don't know if I'm getting it mixed up with another book that I'm thinking of, which is very possible. I feel like I've heard, like in the last couple of months, I've been hearing a lot about a lot of different water mysteries. In the Water. I'm like looking it up. No, that's by Stuart Woods. Apparently Stuart Woods has the same title, as well as Haley Edwards and Matthew. This is a very popular title. Let me see. Okay, maybe let us know how it is going to go for you. I guess. I can't find it on Goodreads. Oh yeah, I read a book recently which talked about paintings all the time, and I constantly had Google on the other side because it just doesn't hit when you don't see what they were referencing. Yeah, like I'm listening to it, and the information has been great, but like the reason why I picked it up was because I really want to get into some of the history of like the illustrators and artists who made those covers. And I feel like I haven't been getting hardly any of that. So I don't, yeah, but it's also like, okay, well, when am I going to sit down and listen to this and and read at the same time? Like, that's why these sprints are also super helpful for me. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I get to it during today's sprints. It may be at the very end if like Autumncrow isn't keeping my attention, which I hope it does. I hope that it's not too corny. It may be. Fear Street, Arlstein. I think there's a few on KU. I need to see, but the thing is that the Fear Street novels, here's my dilemma, is that the Fear Street novels are still being sold, but they're being sold with like, they didn't like recreate the 90s covers. And I know I shouldn't read a book just for the cover, but who are we kidding? I'm an artist, so of course I'm going to like not buy the book until I get the cover that I want, because there's so many other books I could be reading. The new covers, they're illustrated and they look really modern and they look great. Like, the illustrator did a great job, but they're just not like this like very 90s, 80s extreme covers that I really would just want if I'm going to read those books. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I also found out that like when I went to go try and find the Goosebumps novels in the the Barnes and Noble, apparently they got rid of like that iconic slime frame that they would do in all the books. Yeah, they got rid of that. I don't know who said that was a good idea, but they got rid of it. So I'm just kind of like, okay, that's great. Love that. And I kind of don't want to buy a Goosebumps novel either, like new, unless it has that iconic slime cover, being the 90s kid that I am. So yeah, I'm positive that some of the Fear Street novels I can get online and to read and everything. I prefer like getting the original covers, and so I'm not stressing myself out on like actually reading it, because I don't want to just, one, I listen to audiobooks. I don't do digital reading. It's nothing against people who like read on their Kindle or anything. There's just something about it that doesn't feel like tactile enough. I know that's really weird, but it's just like how I am. So yeah, I'm that's where I'm kind of lost right now in the Fear Street and Goosebumps novels and everything. I'm like, I want the original covers, or we're just gonna have to wait until the original pops up at a thrift store and I finally can read it. I have to read it for school, but my teachers really like it, so I hope it's good. I hope it's good, AJ. I've heard amazing things about Dante. Like, really, like, the basis of horror is from like everything that they were going through. So I hope you enjoy it as well. There's sometimes some sleeper for school assignments. It's a very popular title. Who knew? Yeah, Dead in the Water. I could not find it. I think I'm probably gonna have to look up the author's name and everything. But Dead in the Water seems to be a very, very popular name. I found like 5 from just the Goodreads search. Hey, Danny, thank you for coming. I'm finally reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Good luck. We already talked on Instagram about how I felt about that book, but I hope you do like it. I know there's a lot of people out there who do. I can't say I'm one of them, but I do. I think that there are merits to why people like it. I don't think it hit the mark for me personally, but you're enjoying it. I'm on chapter 16. Okay, I'm glad. Scorpio Rising also enjoyed it. I think I'm just the 1%. I'm a 1%er that did not enjoy the book. I'm glad you are, though. I think I stopped enjoying it really near the end of the book and everything. Danny, I would love to talk more about it once you finish it, so that we can have like a discussion about what happens nearing like the second half of the book. Let's see here. What else? If you're collecting books, it's totally fine to want to have aesthetically pleasing covers. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you kind of giving me that, being that person saying like, it's okay for you to collect books just for the covers. Yeah, why would I want a physical book of something I don't like? I could just read the audiobook then. What was the point of me even getting the physical? So thank you. Okay, we are now 20 minutes in. I think that maybe we should start reading now. I feel like it's a good time to start reading, especially so that I have enough time to start getting into this. We'll see how fast I kind of start. I want to start with this. If it ends up being like, no, this isn't working, we will switch to paperbacks from hell. I just really want to finish another book by the end of this month because my month has been trash. So let's hope that this is something. I've got some high hopes. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So let's get it all set up and everything. I have the counter. We're gonna do this picture in picture. Of course, I'm sitting here like I haven't done this since last last. Yo, what's happening? Why isn't this coming up? There we go. Got that. And then we're going to put on our thunderstorm. Hello. Um, that was. I think this is much better than I thought it was going to be. I will say that. I think that I was like expecting for it to be corny, which I'm not saying that it is. I mean, keep in mind, like, I'm slow reader. Like, this is, I may get through luckily a third by the end of our sprints today. It's definitely reading more like a Fear Street novel. Like, the beginning is very gory. Plenty of gore in this nightmare. I didn't know that. Well, no, I did. It all takes place in 1994. I don't think I even told y'all what this was about, but I just jumped into it. But this is about, there's another book ahead of this, and this all takes place in this town of Autumncrow, which is basically like all the best parts of Halloween during the 90s. That's what this town is. In like East Coast, autumn leaves, small town, brick, 90s. And it all has to do with this main character who is, I think she's having these premonitions. She's having premonitions in her nightmares and everything. That's as much as I know. She's seen some like guy in her dreams who's like the conductor or like these things, these gore fests that are happening in her dreams. And I think that she probably runs into him like the first day of school. It's her senior year of high school. That's how much I know right now. It's definitely anything that you like during the 90s about Halloween. It's all basically, even within those first like 20 or so pages, it's stuffed into this novel. So I'm having a good time. It's not, it's definitely like nostalgic, like Halloween cornball fest, but like in a very entertaining way. Like it doesn't feel like there's really stakes, but like not in a boring way, if that makes sense. How's your reading going? Let me know. Scorpio Rising, I worked in my journal and read 10 pages. Dope. Wait, what? Let me see. What were you reading again? Oh, your cozy mystery. Right, Dead in the Water. I'm not gonna ask you like how the first 10 pages kind of are, because I don't think that maybe you could get a really good read on it. Maybe you can. Let me know if those first 10 pages were pretty good for you. AJ read 14 pages, but this is hard. I think I'm going to go now because I feel like my brain is leaking out of my ears. Good luck and enjoy the rest of your sprints. Thank you, AJ. Yeah, I mean, maybe once you get through all the classic writing and you get to like the meat of basically Dante being in hell, it'll be a great time. I hope that you do better, but have a good night. Let me see. I'm also on Instagram. Midge, hello, Midge, if you're still here. I also listen to rain sounds while I read. It's really great. I really love listening to like the rain sounds while I'm reading. It's really helping with this book for certain, because it all takes place during autumn, and so it kind of is. Today's actually a nice day for once. I think every time we've had reading sprints, it's been pouring down raining in LA because LA doesn't know how to be Southern California anymore. And so this is kind of like relaxing. I have like my autumn candle kind of burning. I'm pretty positive I'm going to be having that burning from now until I think we're just going to have like the autumn candle just burning from here on out. But yeah, I'm having a good time. We've got like 15 more seconds. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Maybe I'll speed up now that I have a better idea of how this is going. Okay. I I really am enjoying it. I know that I said that the last go. I have no new notes. I did find out this is all taking place in Ohio, which, if you don't know, that's where I'm originally from, Dayton, Ohio, which I probably have said many times in some of my videos. For me, I think that like the only reason I love autumn and Halloween as much as I do is growing up in the Midwest. If Ohio knows how to do anything, it knows how to do the autumn season like very well. I don't think that you can spend another autumn or Halloween season anywhere else after you've spent one in the Midwest. So that makes sense to me. Absolutely. I think also that makes absolute sense because I think Cameron Chaney is from Ohio as well. So of course, write what you know. So that's been great. There's some high school drama stuff happening in here. It's cozy. It starts off with a lot of gore. Like that nightmare was very gory for something that's supposed to be kind of like not middle grade, but you know, like a little it's not this isn't a splatterpunk novel, you know? Um yeah, it's very vibey. It's very if you are wanting to get into like the autumn vibes, definitely this book. This book and a Halloween candle is gonna get you right. So I'm glad that I'm kind of reading this because it's definitely like getting me ready since we're halfway to Halloween. So I'm enjoying it. How are y'all doing with your reads? Um, oh, Scorpio Rising. So yeah, from the first 10 pages, it introduced the main character. It gave a little bit of insight into her personality. Okay, did you get any further in your book, or are you? I know that you're also journaling and everything. I read 18 pages. The story is progressing nicely. That's good to hear. Yeah, same. I'm I'm enjoying it. I could see myself. And I think I'm noticing that these are made. Huh. I think these are like published through Amazon. Things that I'm realizing as I'm looking at like the back of it and like the yeah. Cameron Chaney was born and raised in a small town in Ohio you've never heard of. He spent his childhood roaming his family's 6-acre property and devouring one spooky book after another. So yeah, this has been great. I don't really know what to say after that. Usually during these reading sprints, I read a lot of excuse the sounds outside. But I usually read a lot of anthologies during our reading sprints because they're kind of like layups to get a lot of stories in all at once. So I usually have a lot more to like discuss because I've usually like finished about a story or two by the time the reading sprint's over. This is the first time I'm reading like an actual full-length book as these are progressing. So not a lot to say. It's very cozy. I do recommend it if you're trying to get in. Jesus. Somebody's really going ham with the motorcycle outside. It's a nice day. I get it. Yeah, I usually don't like read a full length novel during these. But I'm having a good time. It definitely is. If you are trying to get in that Halloween vibe, I do recommend this. Like very wholesome Halloween, autumn, nostalgic vibes. Absolutely. So this is kind of meeting the brief for everything that I was wanting from reading a Fear Street novel. Not upset at that. It's something different from what I've been reading. I think that it's like a cozy. It's not a cozy mystery, but I think when people are like saying cozy, like a cozy book, this is it. If there's more like hoary, gory type of things, like the beginning of this was, I could say it's a cozy horror, a YA horror. But I don't even want to call it a YA horror because I feel like The Weight of Blood is considered YA. That's our time. It's considered YA, and that was. I feel like it could stand its own on like a intro to horror type of book. So let's continue. we're still doing well. Yeah, it's still going really well. I'm enjoying myself. I feel like I'm also have this anxiety that I'm reading so slow. I'm only on page 60 after almost 3 hours. After almost an hour, 2 hours. So real time of how slow I read. But I'm having a good time. I'm not sure where it's kind of going, because we already met who I guess is supposed to be the antagonist in this book to the main character, Bailey. And of course, her friend it's basically the whole friend who is super loud and popular and everything. The main character is not. So I'm not really certain, like, if I'm already, like, we've met the antagonist, we're kind of already in it, then what will it be, like, by halfway? I guess I'm still trying to figure out what the plot is. I guess, like, who this guy is that is from her dreams and everything. We'll see. Let me know, like, how your guys' reading is going, what you're reading and everything. For some reason, my live is lagged on my end, like the video is. But let me know if it's lagged. I like looked it up. Like, you probably saw me on my phone at one point. I was looking it up to see if it was lagged for you all. It seems like it's not. But let me know in the comments and stuff if you guys are getting any sort of lag. I'm hoping not. I don't know why. Like, this has never happened where I'm, like, seeing video that happened literally 20 minutes ago in the video live screen on YouTube. So I'm hoping that also isn't affecting, like, any of the comments and stuff. I swear I've done this before. You couldn't tell it from today's. But yeah, I'm having a good time reading this. It definitely is. I've said it before. It's still giving just as pumping as much Halloween into this as you possibly can. And I'm having it's good. I still feel like I want to know what the plot's going to be, especially being 60 pages in. I'm kind of like, once we figure out, like, who this guy is that the whole plot? Figuring out, like, why she's seeing this guy in her dreams, or what his big thing is and connection is to her. And also, we haven't found out why or how her father died, and if it's connected to apparently his father dying at all. So I'm left with some questions. And I'm also kind of, like, surprised how much really hasn't happened in 60 pages. Scorpio Rising said, it hasn't lagged for me. Didn't read that sprint. I was finishing dinner. Good, because I will, use these as a body double as well. And good to know that it's not lagging. I guess it's just something that's happening on my end. Maybe because of using StreamYard. I don't know. We'll see. As long as it's not lagging for you all and this is fine, then we're good. But yeah, I'm liking it. I just want to find out, like, what's the main goal for this? And that's going to keep me reading. It's a good read, though. I feel like I'm, like, breezing through reading it. For sure. Let's continue on. We've got about 1 more hour left of sprinting. So that's probably about 2 sprints. Okay, we're gonna go for a short break. Mainly because I don't really have that big of an update personally, and things are starting to actually happen in the book now. We're 82 pages in, and it's chapter 9, and things are now starting to. I don't know who this kid is. He's dating like her best friend, the main character's best friend now. That happened in like 2 seconds. So that's weird. And the ex-boyfriend of the best friend apparently has some vendetta out against this guy. He knows something. I don't know what he knows. I need to find out what he knows in the next couple of chapters. And we have found out that apparently her dad isn't actually dead. He's just missing. After a very brutal car accident, he went missing. And not like him not running into another car, like him running into a tree or something. Also, apparently Autumncrow is like where does Buffy live? Like she goes to school on a Hellmouth, but I have completely just forgot where Buffy lives in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Her name's Buffy Summers. She goes to school in a Hellmouth. Oh, I hate that I'm not thinking of where the town is. Come on, I'm trying. Sunnydale. Jesus. It's like Sunnydale, where like all these weird things are constantly happening and the police don't do anything about it. They like do petty crime and stuff like that. They check out. But as for like apparently sometimes people go on murderous rampages out of nowhere and are possessed. People, I guess it's like making fun of the fact that like the Fear Street or Goosebumps novels and stuff have these weird things that always are happening in them. And it seems like nobody like ever gets like any police or like higher ups involved with like all this weird stuff that's constantly happening, which I think is funny. And the main character, it points out, she's like, her older brother apparently is a police officer, and she's just kind of like, you guys never check out like anything horrible or anything that happened in this town. Like we're the Halloween capital for a reason, and it's not just because we like Halloween, it's because weird stuff happens here. So that's interesting. I find that interesting. I really want to know what this jock knows apparently about this Dennis character. We found out, by the way, his name is Dennis. This weird guy who is showing up in her dreams and now dating her best friend and shows up at her high school out of nowhere, whose father apparently died, who used to be the janitor at the school. And that's all we really have. So, looking forward to what more there is. Still an easy read. Like I'm gliding through. I don't even like usually read. It's getting faster. As I'm getting the cadence, I'm moving faster through these chapters. Yeah, still reading like a Halloween Disney Channel movie. In a good way. Like that's not a slight. Like I'm enjoying that nostalgia of it all. That's why I also made this a shorter break. Obviously, I'm enjoying it because I want to get back to it. I'm not going to be reading Paperbacks from Hell during our sprint. I'm probably going to save that for later on, or I'm just going to start like just looking back at the pictures within the book for references after listening to it. I don't know. I really do want, I'm going to finish that book, but this has got me locked in now. So I'm not even going to finish off today's reading sprint with reading from that book at all. But I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad that I'm enjoying myself. This is something different than what I usually read. And it's a fun time. Let's get back to it. I hope you guys are enjoying what you're reading. Let's unmute that. Um, okay, things are happening. Things are happening quickly. Dennis is going off the rails. Things are getting creepier. Ghosts are happening. This school, did I mention that this school basically had a Carrie style prom where like a bunch of kids were murdered? And as a memorial to those kids who died in this school that kids still go to, by the way, they decided it may be a good idea to erect tombstones in the schoolyard in their memory. Which is outrageous. It's extremely outrageous, but also very much like Buffy Vampire Slayer as Fear Street, Goosebumps type of thing. Apparently, also, as you get older in this town, you just start forgetting all of the bad things that happen, and it's just replaced with you having these fond fall like memories of the town. So nobody really leaves. Like, the older you get, if you become old enough to leave, that's when the forgetting starts. And that's why people don't leave this place. Interesting. I'm more like interested in this weirdo town than maybe I am in this weirdo Dennis. I have no idea. So Dennis, I'm pretty much set on that this skeleton guy on the front cover, which, by the way, let's get into that. Great cover. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Dennis. No clue what his relation is to other things in the story. I have no clue what. Yeah, all we know is that he is apparently the estranged son to the weirdo janitor of this school. And now, like, I guess he started acting weird in front of her best friend Melody and everything. I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess we're here for the ride. We're just simply here for the ride. I think I'm going to do one more sprint before we call it quits, because I want to get to the end of this chapter. I want to get halfway through, and I'm very nearly there. I think one more sprint and we'll be basically halfway through the book. Things are starting to go south. I mean, like, not with the book, but like with the situation. Let's see who has. I'm just like, I'm into it now. I'm really like, I've been like waiting for it to like really speed up. It's there. Her best friend's an idiot, though. I will admit, Melody is good-natured, but an idiot. Let's see. I have about 20 pages left in my cozy. I will probably give it a solid 3. 3's not bad. I was speaking to your spooky mom on Instagram. Check her out if you haven't. We were talking about, like, I guess Joe Hill said something along the lines of like a 3 on Goodreads. If you're not going to leave a 5-star review, just be a sweetheart and don't do it, because a 3 is basically a nothing. And I'm just like, okay, first and foremost, you're a Nepo baby. Stephen King's your father. So let's start there. Your stuff got published basically off your name. You changed your name to make it seem like you weren't a Nepo baby, but you went into horror. What did you think was going to happen? But also, like, a 3 isn't bad. I give 3s willy-nilly, like, and would still recommend them. Now, when we're in 2 territory, there you may be concerned, you know? But so I think a solid 3 would be good. Hey, Christine, hello. I'm super late. It was my partner's B-day dinner and the family almost, but I wanted to still say hi. Thank you for stopping by. No worries. Happy birthday to your partner and everything. Thanks for just hitting the tail end. I hope you're enjoying Fresh Hell. Yeah, it's going good. I'm enjoying it with my candle here. It's definitely getting me in I want it to be spooky season already, or at least Halloween hunting season. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, but thanks for stopping by. We're going to do one more sprint and then we're going to call it at that. So Okay. Things have gotten interesting. I'm about halfway through. About 30 pages away from being halfway through, but over a third, for sure. Her mom knows, apparently, the original janitor who looks like the son, who now I think is fully possessed. Pretty positive he is, with the ghost of his father, who I think had something to do with the Carrie-esque prom rapture thing that happened at the prom. That apparently was also the year that her parents were going to that school. She has found all this out from the last chapter that I read. That's why I ran over a little bit. Very interesting. And apparently her mom was dating his dad. I don't know. I don't know what this means. Maybe he was obsessed. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the maybes are. But a lot of information was just given to us in that last chapter. This is really good. Excited to read more in the future. Probably will read some more tonight. Had a great time today. Had a great time. Knocked out some reading and everything. Thanks again for joining me. I always love doing these every month. I need to get better with announcing them a little sooner, though. I will say that. So that people can be maybe available. But yeah, had a good time. I'm about halfway through. I can see myself finishing this. I'm glad, because it has been a bad reading month for me, y'all. I've just not been having the best time. So definitely want to finish this. Definitely want to listen to the rest of Paperbacks from Hell. That will probably be my April. I really hope next month is going to be a little bit better for me. But I'm going to be reading some books that I already have been told were like great. I just think the nonfiction messed me up. I tried to be too smart. The nonfiction messed your girl up. So yeah, glad to be back in it with this. Hopefully I can like just do some reading every night before I go to sleep and finish this up. I hope y'all had a great time. I hope whatever you were reading, it was a great time, and that you really loved it, whatever it was that you were getting a chance to read. Thank you, Christine. I don't know, have you read this? I don't know if you've read Fresh Hell. It is really good. I've heard other booktubers say that it's good. So I'm glad that that's leading up. That seems to be right. Danny, I don't know if you're still here vibing with us, but I also hope that you were enjoying The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Continuing to and everything. Yeah. I had a great time today. I am going to also probably, like, once we get off of here, finish up some work while I watch Late Night with the Devil, which is now on Shudder. I've been waiting for it to hit Shudder, and enjoy some of that while doing some taxes that I probably should have finished already, and now I have an extension on. I love that for me. For some of y'all who are on the East Coast, I know that like it is late for y'all, so good night. For some of y'all who are here on the West Coast, thank you for going into your evening with all this reading. I hope you caught up on some stuff. And I'll see you on the next one next month. Bye.